Hello everyone, this is Brandon from Galaxydoc Market. Today is Sunday, October 13th, 2024. It's about 10 a.m. Eastern Time as I make this video. And as you can tell by my thumbnail, China, I figured it out, folks. And I think people are figuring it out. Deflation in China is happening. Global crash is coming near, and I'll show you the cases for that. But before we do that, here's the disclaimer. Pause it, read it. If you agree, please move forward. And I put a lot of time into this, and so I would appreciate a subscribe, thumbs up, share it, and comments, okay? I have a lot of polarizing comments, messages that are coming in, which I believe that is why I think we're near the top of this market. And if you ignore that, then it's going to be a problem, and that's what the today's message is going to be all about. All right, we're on X.com, Galaxydoc Market. There is a lot of great intraday commentaries, breaking news, and stimulating topics from colleagues around the internet and professional affiliations. All right, guys, fear and greed has not changed. And as we are moving higher, everybody thinks we are going to the moon at this point in the stock market. And judging by, the amount of, not less than stellar commentaries from some of you out there, I believe we are within days, maybe a week away from this market finally topping and turning around. But crash is near, folks. And if you choose to ignore me, just look at this contrarian indicator. We're at greed. We're probably going to be at extreme greed. And I'll show you why I think, that may continue for 1 or 2 more days. Or potentially there may be a black swan event, a geopolitical event, or any type of bank failures that may be coming in. That's what we're going to be talking about. All right, so this pesky little uptrend chart line, is it or isn't it? That's the question that I've been asking. I would much rather would have preferred us hitting this top end of the trend line and then failing off of there because, as you know, historically, big moves have come off of those levels and also big recoveries have come from the bottom of that channel. Okay, we are nowhere near. We're still kind of in no man's land. We're chugging higher. The question is, are we going to tag that before the crash or the correction happens? I'm not sure. But we're running out of time. The market is out of time, folks. We are moving higher as the VIX basically is staying elevated, and we'll go over all of those kind of things and why you should be preparing. And I'm not telling you to go out and buy zero-day expiration ES calls or puts or, that kind of stuff. But I am saying to prepare and watch what's happening, read the tea leaves, and that's my job to do so. And that's why I put so much hours into making this video for you all. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. Deflationary trends in China explains everything that's going on, the wonky crap that's going on in our own markets with the 10-year Treasury and bond yields exploding higher as the Fed is cutting rates. And then the bazooka hyperinflationary liquidity injection in China that's just not working. That's because it's deflation that's happening, okay? So here's Mohammed Al Aryan, the PIMCO fame, and this guy is pretty legendary. And then the softer than expected CPI numbers in China will amplify worries about what? Damaging deflation here. First, there is inflation. You print money to oblivion. That's what all the world central banks do. They try to hyperinflate, but when something breaks, you get deflation. Okay, so now we have the answers to why China is on liquidity injection rampage that's not working, right? Basically, a few days after their liquidity injection, Shanghai and Hang Seng in Hong Kong has collapsed. Not collapsed, but they started selling off. Okay, deflationary credit collapse is an evidence of bank failures or systemic financial failures, and everyone has forgotten about this little problem. The property bank, the mortgage bank in China called Evergrande. Remember that? It's going to come out full front and force, and we talked about this, just in passing in a few of these previous videos. Okay. The problem right now for China is that there is a deflationary aspect of the PPI and as well as the CPI, and they keep coming in below. And China to report numbers like this, these numbers are probably far more concerning for them to have done the liquidity injection rampage that I talk about here. Pay attention to this. Even Mohammed Al-Aryan, who is a legend in his field, okay, it's warning you. Okay, pay attention, folks. All right, I'm paying attention. And then, of course, this was on the 7th of October. Okay, this is the property developers in China. Look at this sheet. Okay, all right. This is a property bubble that is global. It's going to have contagion, and China is going to experience what we experienced in 2008 to 2009 on steroids, and it's going to export this crisis to the rest of the world. Okay. Pay attention to this, folks. Okay. And then on top of that, HK's Hong Kong listed Chinese security brokerage companies are tumbling. Okay. And so, I mean, they're falling by 30%. This is very reminiscent of what's happened during our financial crisis, which nothing got fixed, folks. Nothing got fixed. Okay. They made things worse from that period. Okay. But here's the thing. All right. A lot of people think war is deflationary, but not if you start wars because of fears of deflation. Let me explain why that is. Okay. And before I do that, I want to talk about the fact that this is just 3 hours ago. Chinese carriers are prepared for battle. Why is that? Because China is scared to death about deflation. See, you can lie about inflation. When you have deflation, people die. Either through wars, famines, a lack of productivity, unemployment, suicides. I don't think, people understand the gravity of what's going on around the world, okay? The powder kegs and geopolitical event is happening globally. I mean, we're talking about these, right? Okay? Now, China, everyone has been forgetting about it. Now, everyone thinks, oh, no, they're not going to attack. Seeds are being sown for a World War III narrative, folks. And this is happening. Pay attention to this, okay? Here in Texas, okay, and I think this caught my eye. This was listed for, I think, $1.6 million house, okay? This is evidence of deflation in homes. Oh, but home prices never go down. All of you that think that your home in this financial crisis that is coming cannot deflate, okay, drop, okay, because everything was hyperinflated. Once the deflation sets in, this is what you get. This guy just wants out probably to pay off the balance of the mortgage, okay? All right, so basically this is little nuggets of things that are happening, why I think deflationary credit collapse is happening right now, even though everything we're worried about is inflation, okay? That's not the case, all right? And I want to talk about the famous quote by one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, okay? It said, if the American people ever allow private banks, what is this private bank? It's the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? Guys, there's nothing federal about the Federal Reserve Bank. They are a private bank that somehow got the ability to control our money supply and inflation or interest rates, to control the issue of their currency. First by inflation, what's happened first? Everybody was worried about inflation, and now by deflation. And this is how they collapse the world and bringing in new monetary strategies, as well as wars and new global, I don't know, one world government, I guess. Okay, I'm kind of out on the field on that one. Okay, so banks and corporations that will grow up around them will deprive the people of all property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than our standing armies, and I firmly believe that. I mean, look at the power that these central and global banks have. Look at EU. Look at all these central bankers. Look at Powell when he tells you out of his mouth that their goal is to maintain 2.5% inflation rate and maximum employment. They're lying to you, okay? First, they're going to hyperinflate you out of your prosperity. and then deflation's going to set in and they're going to steal you of all your properties. And that's happening right now. And if you think I'm full of crap, then let me know. This is what's happening, folks. There is nothing federal about the Federal Reserve Bank, okay? And they are a private bank that controls our currency. All right. Thank you, Woodrow Wilson. All right. So let's talk about this aspect. Okay. So one of the data is false, right? The green line is the U.S. personal spending data. And then the red line is University of Michigan consumer sentiment. So as our sentiment is hitting consumer sentiment, remember consumer demand destruction is happening. Our government is telling you, no, everything's fine. The consumers are spending money left and right. And, you tell me when the food prices basically for 2 or 3 days of food is costing you $60 to $100, okay, while your income hasn't been going on, that's deflation, folks. Okay. Eventually, those food prices will come down, but nobody will have money to spend it on. Okay. Our governments are basically a managed government like the Soviet Union was. Okay. Here's another one, Coastal Journal. Shout out to them. They have great content. Don't get paid by them, but I'm telling you, I love their content and their perspective, and it helps me with my videos. Okay, so those who don't heed the lessons from the past, okay, are doomed to repeat them. The crash is coming, folks. It's really near. Okay. And I've been saying, I wasn't saying it's going to crash tomorrow. I said, watch Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. And then we have these Jewish holidays. Okay. Feast of Tabernacles. If you want to do some deep dive into the world instability and the crashes and wars that occur during this period, go look at it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's so many signs that are saying it will. Okay. Look at this. I talked about Enron and WorldCom. We're talking about SMCI now, right? Very similar. Lehman Brothers collapsed on what? Yield curve issues. What are we having right now, right? We cut rates to bring the interest rate down because these banks are basically sitting on unmarked, insolvent pile of trash right now. And as the yield curve continues to go up, those assets become less and less valuable. Okay, this is how Lehman Brothers collapsed. By the way, last week I said the repo window, discount window was open. Somebody tapped 2.5 billion. They've tapped it on every single day. Okay, what is it? I thought it'd be maybe, if I had to guess, I'm not sure. If you want me to guess, I think it might be Bank of America. Okay, I always thought it'd be Evergrande, but I think that's already starting in China, or Deutsche Bank, or Comerica Bank. Okay, CMA, remember that? Okay, those are all coming home to roost, folks. Okay. So this is something that you might want to pause and just ponder on this, what's happening, okay? Everything that's the worst parts of, during the dot-com bubble burst, the financial crisis. I mean, hell, I'll go back all the way to 1995 during the long-term capital management, LTCM collapse, okay? You want to learn more about that? Google them and then see how that almost brought the world to a standing still. But I think the trajectory is inevitable, folks. Okay? So let's talk about the effects of deflation. Okay? It's very simple, folks. The effects of deflation is right here. Falling incomes, yes, check. Higher unemployment, check here. And then when the businesses are selling goods for lower prices, not yet, but that's because when demand goes down, and if you start looking at consumer demand destruction, just start looking at our automakers. Stellantis is probably going bankrupt, making crappy cars and charging you 130 grand. Remember what Jefferson said, first by inflation, then by deflation. They're going to rob you of your prosperity, okay? All right, so they make up for it by cutting wages and laying off employees. Check, they're laying off people right now. And then they don't innovate anything. When was the last time Apple iPhone looks the same 12 years later? Okay, Steve Jobs is rolling over in his grave. Okay, shame on you, Tim Cook. All right, but this is what happens. There is no innovation. All we worried about is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, that has a place in somewhere, but not when you're starving to death. And that's where we're basically headed to, folks. Less consumer spending, check. Consumer demand destruction, because you have no more money to buy. You're buying things to survive, right? And then, of course, the debt becomes more expensive if you don't have a job to pay for it. Increases in bankruptcies. I mean, how many companies are going bankrupt at this point? All right. So that's what I have. This is a chart that I brought up. It's updated now. Basically, since the Fed cut, I told you that there will be a bounce, and we're basically hitting that time. But this rally, folks, is on low volume. Let me repeat that. Low volume. It's just chugging a little bit higher, very eerily reminiscent of 2007, isn't it? If you don't remember that, then go back and study it. Okay? Don't take my word for it. Go study it and tell me if you don't see the same thing. Okay? All right. So the rate cut is happening because the Fed is worried about something. And now China is screaming louder and louder. Well, Fed is worried about us. Okay. We're already far ahead of you. We're worried about deflation while you guys are being told that we should be worrying about inflation. Okay. Inflation don't matter when basically productivity collapses. Okay, and then the nations become more nationalistic and belligerent towards each other. Check. That's happening right now, right? Pay attention to this. We are close. The market has run out of time, folks. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and then go YOLO on 0-day expiration contracts and then thinking you're going to make a lot of money, but you got to prepare. You got to know what to do. I think there was a commentary from, I don't know, somebody. And, there's basically saying, well, you've been saying that I've been calling for a crash. I said it's coming, folks. All right, starting on Rosh Hashanah through the month of October, and it's gonna happen. All right, it's not if. All right, and then and don't go out and just because of what I'm saying and go YOLO on the 0-day expiration crap. Doesn't work, folks. Okay, if you make $1 million, maybe you can pretend you went to Vegas and do it, but not right now. You gotta be prudently building positions, right? I'm gonna show you what we're super excited about. Okay. Here's another chart. This is from Sven Henrik, the Northman trader, okay? And I really love this because the fact is, this is what I've been saying in so many words over the last 2 months, right? And he put this chart up. I don't know if he made it, but this is elegant because it's simple. This is, I don't know, maybe I'm retarded, but this is what I've been trying to say all this time. It made a new all-time high, and shortly after, it started to collapse, folks. Okay, all right. I mean, this is like, it's like a mirror image of what's going on at this point. Okay, this is us currently down here. Okay, we're a little bit higher, just a little blip. Okay, on low volume, folks. Pay attention to this. I am not sitting here telling you guys to go out there and do YOLO stuff. I don't think you've ever heard me say that. Okay, but what I've been saying is that those who fail to prepare is preparing to fail. Okay, and those of you who are super excited that this, because the Fed's cutting rate and there's a lot of liquidity, that's not the case. Deflation is coming, folks. Here's my 10-year Treasury yield. Since the Fed cut in September 18th, right down here, it's gone up gangbusters, right? I mean, it's basically gone parabolic, right? Well, I mean, I think it's going to go ahead to one of these retracement levels, but I will say this also. Very, very important for you to understand, right? The longer we stay above 38 on TNX, which is equivalent to 3.8%, and if we close above 41 and start moving higher, crash is imminent, folks. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen today, but it sure looks like it. And how in the hell does the market, when they cut 50 basis points, should be coming down, making things more affordable? Because I think Fed is doing this on purpose, and they're fighting with China. China's already way ahead of the game. They're already admitting to deflation. So then the question is what is my number one investment or trade? Gold and silver, folks. We also did oil, and those of you that thought oil is going to come down because of lack of economic productivity, we were long on gold since 68. Okay, we just covered, but we're building positions on gold. Okay, all right. If you have storage, yeah, physical gold is great. But for those of you that are traders, there are other avenues, right? Okay. You want to learn more about that? You need to contact me. Why is it smart to invest in gold during a period of deflation? Because doesn't asset prices deflate? No, they do not. Okay. So between 1814 and 1830, consumer goods fell 50%, but gold rose by a staggering 100%, and the purchasing power increased as a result because people won't trust the fiat paper money that's worthless. I mean, I could hear the Fed's printing presses going burr, right? I mean, they are absolutely going insane right now, thinking you're stupid, but they're buying gold, folks. All right. And there's going to become a time, maybe this week or something else. Okay. If you want to get biblical, that's another topic for another time. But gold is God's money, folks. Okay. And, no matter how much you try to manipulate it, you need gold back something. Okay. I talked about selling Rosh Hashanah and buy on Yom Kippur, right? We are now starting on Yom Kippur, and then we're going to be going into the Jewish feast holidays, Feast of Tabernacles. I'm telling you, some unsettling things happen during that period, and I think we are smack dab in that aspect, okay? And what are we buying on Yom Kippur? Go buy gold, all right? Buy gold. Okay, gold calls, gold puts, gold GLDs. I mean, there's tons of stuff and derivatives out there for you, but buying physical gold is probably the best idea, right? So what else is happening out there that we need to be concerned about? Okay, what's out there that we need to be concerned about? All right, and that is deflation, right? But more importantly, I believe this is the one that we need to be super concerned about right here. Okay. All right. BRICS is having a meeting and in principle, okay, have agreed on a plan, okay, to de-dollarize agreements. Guys, okay, first of all, 81% of the countries in the world is going to be joining BRICS, okay? I am telling you right now, that's what's going to happen. And they're going to back this by gold, all right? And these are too big for America to go around, play bully, and basically try to sanction them. And they're going to try. It's not going to work. All right. Got gold? I'm serious. Do you have gold? Okay. That's what our trade thesis is. Okay. All right. We did talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about that a little bit in the closing segments. Okay. I said be aware of October 2nd and beyond. Okay, folks, I never said that you should go short expecting on October 2nd when Rosh Hashanah started. Okay? Pay attention. Watch my video. You got to watch my video at least twice. Okay, I know some of you just skim through, look at the back, but I put a lot of content into this. Okay? Okay, we talked about this. This is consumer demand destruction. I read through it. Falling incomes, less consumer spending, more expensive debt. Okay, now recession and deflation are not mutually exclusive. They can occur at the same time. In China right now, their fear is that screw recession. They're talking about deflation. Okay, deflation leads to depression. Okay, and wars. Because countries become belligerent towards each other because it now becomes a resource war. So here's basically what I will say before I get into China's summary. You just saw it, okay, is that what I'm looking for is the following situation, okay? Let's look at the VIX right now. We already talked about TNX, okay? VIX, okay, bottomed when we talked about it. It's now formed a bull flag formation, building energy to move higher. I don't think that next time we hit the 65 level, it's going to stop. All right, let's go into a little bit cleaner version of 10-year Treasury. Okay, 10-year Treasury is running into a slight resistance, going right back into this volatility box, but I think we're going to move higher, folks. I mean, there's no stopping it at this point, okay, because the excessive money printing has basically killed the narrative. What about gold? Okay, everyone was telling me, Fed will never let that happen. Well, since then, we bottomed off this area, and I said we're going to move higher. We're going to move higher. We're on phase 4 parabolic move right now, and this is the end stage move. And don't be surprised if you wake up one day, sometime this week or next, when gold is significantly above 2850, 2900. Okay, all right. By the way, Bitcoin's trading around what, 63K? Okay, and I always said Bitcoin is the digital gold, right? Well, that's what gold should be trading around. Okay, if something happens in that bricks, I pay attention. Nothing may happen, but I would pay attention to them. Okay, this is the weekly on gold. On the daily, okay, again, everyone said, oh, look, it's doing around the top. It's going to fall all the way back down into this area. And I said, no, we're going to find support at this pivot, and we're going to move higher. We're going to move higher. We're going to go higher, folks. It's going to move higher. All right? So that's what I have, and here is what we're going to talk about. What is China afraid of? Now we know. Deflation, and this carrier strike group going towards Taiwan as we speak. Okay, more wars to lead. All right, sell on Rosh Hashanah and buy on Yom Kippur. All right, we are buying gold and silver. We are building those positions, either physical or derivatives. You guys need to figure that out. Okay, October surprise. Okay, those who fail to plan will plan to fail, and we are in that historical timeline, folks. All right. Weird things happen during Feast of Tabernacles and during this Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur period. Okay? Remember, market crashes occur in October predominantly. Okay? The big ones. The historical ones. VIX is building energy to move higher. My critical SPY level still remains. I mean, there's a lot of meat on this bone, folks. 560, 167. I'm standing to it. All right? What am I doing? Okay? Am I building SPY positions right now? Right now, we're focused on gold. Okay, we'll figure this out later. I talked about Tesla stalling, right? It ran up ahead of that robotaxi thing. I'm not a big Elon Musk fan, but I've been trading Tesla a long time, and basically no substance, right? And plus, in Arizona where I'm at, we already have Waymo. There's no people in there. People just go in. My son rides it around, and it's great. Okay, sell the news. Yes, it was. Did you profit from it? Okay. All right. So, I mean, it's not like, we're not calling these things out, but, you have to know how to trade in this environment, right? Deflationary credit collapse is happening in China. It's super important. And then this is explaining why 10-year Treasury yield and all U.S. bond yields are spiking higher. It's basically a debt war. Deflationary credit collapse is coming. Yes, the crash is coming. But I do believe this. I think we're going to have a sharp sell-off. Gold and silver and all the commodities are going nuts. You've heard that Russia is buying up silver now because probably above ground gold is disappearing. All right. And COMEX and LBMA cannot, they can't keep up. All right. And once the BRICS nations gets together, their meeting starts on 23rd through 24th. Watch what happens. Folks, if you don't prepare, I'm just warning you right now, okay? You do your own research, okay? I don't want to hear people complaining about, oh, I bought 0-day expiration gold calls and you were wrong. I'm not telling you to do that, okay? If you can go buy physical gold, that's what I would do while you can get it, or silver. Anyways, thank you for listening. Follow me at Galaxydoc Market. Follow us, like us, share us, and above all, comment, good and bad. It gives me a lot of content. It gives me a barometer. Based on the contrarian comments and maybe some of the hate mails that I'm getting right now, I think we're really close, folks, to a market crash that I've been talking about. Please subscribe. I love you all, even the haters, okay? Now, if you want to learn more about doing business with me, joining my group, but if you don't have a lot of money, I do have a social media account where you get the intraday pre-market commentary full of SPY pivots and my weekly watch list, okay? And there are different packages available. You got to email me here, okay? I'm not going to sell your email address, okay? And or you can visit me on my website, okay? You can see what's going on. I do have a lot of inquiries right now because people are curious, okay? Anyways, let's get some alpha. Good luck out there.